I'm Miss Walker, and in this video, I'm going over week 5, Thursday, sweet estimation. So it says estimate the sum by rounding each number to the nearest hundred. Show your work. So what I'm going to do on this one, I'm going to do the actual sum and also the estimated sum to see how close we are. On this one, we're rounding to the nearest hundred. So that means, if you see my other videos, you know I've done rounding already. So when we round to the nearest hundred, I'm going to start with this example. You underline the number in your hundreds place. Then you circle the number next door. The number next door is an 8. 5 or more, let it soar. So this is going to round up to 200. Okay. Then I have 334. My 3 is in my hundreds place, and I circle the number next door. It is a 3. I know if I have a 3 in my hundreds place, it can only round down or stay the same, whichever word or terms you use. It can only go as low as 300 and the next 100 up. 100, 200, 300, 400 is 400. So I've got to think in my mind, which number is it closest to? If I'm at 334 on a number line, and I'm trying to think, is it closer to 300 or 400? I know that 330 is only 30 away from 300, and it's 70 away from 400. So it's closer to 300. And when you add numbers that are rounded, it's easier because you have zeros. It's easier to add zeros because 0 plus 0 is 0. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add the actual sum. 9 plus 4 is 13. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 3 is 12. And 3 plus 1 plus 1, 4, 5. So the actual sum would have been 523. And 523 rounded to the nearest 100 is 500. So it is close to 500. On this next one, 441. I underline the 4 in the hundreds place, and I circle the 4 next door. 441 is closer to 400 than it is 500. So I'm going to write 400. Then I have 323. This is closer to 300. So when I add it, I know I have 2 zeros in the back, and 4 plus 3 is 7. So my answer, my sum, should be close to 700. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 3 plus 4 is 7. 764 is close to 700. It wouldn't round to 700, but it is close to 700. All right, 252. I underline the 2 and I circle the 5. I know if it's 5 or more, I round it up to 300. And then I have 368. This 6 next door tells me I'm going to round it up to the next 100, which is 400. 300 plus 400 gives me 700. When I double check, 8 plus 2 is 10. 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 and 6 is 12. 2 plus 1 is 3, and 3 plus 3 is 6. This one is 620. It is close to 700. 80 off. All right, the next one, 363. Underline the 3, circle the 6. This one rounds to 400. And then 429, underline the 4, circle the 2. This one rounds down or stays the same, and it stays at 400. 400 plus 400 is 800. 9 plus 3 is 12. 6 plus 3 is 9. And 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay. On these next ones, I'm just going to go ahead and do the rounded part of it. You can see how these numbers are close, and it does keep you within 100 when you do the actual sum, and when you do the estimated sum, they're close to each other. So on this next one, I'm just going to do the rounding. 598 rounds up to 600. 176 rounds to 200. And 600 plus 200 is 800. 625 rounds to 600. 238 rounds to 200. And 6 plus 2 gives me 800. 324 rounds to 300. 150 rounds to 200. And 3 plus 2 is 5, which gives us 500. Now, if you're wondering how I'm doing it so quickly, it is because I understand rounding, and I know that if the number that I circled ends in a 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, the number stays in that same 100. If the number that I circle ends in a 5, let's use a different color. If the number that I circled ends in a 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, I round it up to the next 100. All right. Moving back to where I was. So 716, I circled a 1. Here's the 1. It stays at 700. 202. I circled a 0, so it's going to stay at 200. 700 plus 200 is 900. I have 137. I circled a 3. It's going to stay at 100. And then I have 381. I circled an 8, so it's going to go up to the next 100, which is 400. 100 plus 400 gives me 500. Moving on, we have 681. I circled an 8, so it's going to go up to the next 100, which is 700. This one I have nothing in my hundreds place, but the number next door is a 9. So if I had a 0 and the next number was 100, then that means that 99 is closer to 100 than it is to 0. So 700 plus 100 is 800. On this next one, we have 5 in the hundreds place and a 2 next door. That means it stays the same at 500. 145 stays the same at 100. 500 plus 100 is 600. I'm going to have to pause the video real quick because my computer is about to die. And I still have 4 left. So be right back. All right. All right, I was having technical difficulties, but I'm back. So here we go. Moving on. 848. The 4 was circled, so I'm going to stay at 800. And then we have 136. The 3 is circled, so I'm going to stay at 100. 800 plus 100 is 900. Moving on, we have 463. The 6 is circled, so we're going to round it up to 500. We have 276. A 7 is circled, so we're going to round that 200 up to 300. And 500 plus 300 is 800. We've got 701. I'm not going to circle anything on this one because this is only 1 away from 700, so it's closest to 700. Then I have 163. The 6 is circled, so I know that one is 27 away from being 200. So I'm going to go ahead and round that one up to 200. And then 37 away. Sorry, my math was off. It's 37 away from 200. Okay, so 0 plus 0 is 0. 0. 7 plus 2 is 9. Right, 648. I have a 6. I underline the 4. That's going to be 600. And then I have 220. And that's going to round to 200. And 600 plus 200 is 800. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, call me, text me, email me. Whatever you want to do, I'm always available to help you. That's what I'm here for. Bye.